joined by Nicole Ash, who's joined me to chat about her musical career. Welcome to Totally Music. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. My name's Nicole or Nicole Ash, and I also go by Guitar by Nicole on most of my socials. And I've been doing guitar for a little bit, and then that's really where I've grown my platform, and then have started releasing music both in a band, then recently with a solo project. So a little bit about me, and I'm based in North Carolina now. I used to live up north in Boston. I'm originally from Jersey. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Well, it's good to have you on Totally Music. So, what inspired you to become a musician?
Um, I feel like I've always wanted to be a musician. I used to daydream about singing and would have songs in my head and start writing them down and showing songs to my friends. And I was also like really inspired by musicians I listened to. So my sister got me really into the emo and pop punk scene. So from there, I got really inspired, especially by my favorite band is My Chemical Romance. And at the time, I didn't think that I was good enough to be a singer at all. So I was like, well, if I can't sing right now, then maybe I'll just pick up an instrument. Maybe I'll try guitar. So I feel like that's when I really decided to be a guitarist, or at least get a guitar and start learning. But I feel like I've always wanted to be a musician and have been writing songs forever.
Sounds good. So, you've just released your single "Nothing to Lose." Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. I'm really excited about this one. It's different than anything I've released before because it's the first time that I actually recorded in a studio. Everything else I've recorded has been at home, and that was, starting from COVID and just working with what I had and the connections that I had made online through my music network. But then from here, yeah, I decided that I just wanted to get the full experience, and that's probably the biggest thing. I've also noticed a huge change in my voice. I had one other solo release previously. I can already tell within a year that that's really changed. But do you want me to go more into like what the song's about, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. It's also like probably the most vulnerable I've written too, or at least released, because it's about facing your fears, and it's something that I am still. I think everyone is probably still working on. So it's really coming from a vulnerable place of um, I guess something that I'm still working on, but it kind of serves as my own motivation. If I can hear myself singing about it, and I truly believe that, and that's what I wanted to write about and how I was feeling in the moment that I wrote it, it's something that inspires me just to kind of work on my own fears, I guess.
Nice, I like it. I'm looking forward to hearing it. So, what are your favorite lyrics from the song?
Um, my favorite one is actually repurposed from a song that I had written before, and I decided to not release that one because it fit better in this one.
Yeah.
It's My Scars Aren't My Weakness, Got Nothing to Prove. And that was inspired by the Papa Roach song Scars. But I think that that one is probably one of the stronger lyrics I've written.
I like it. So, what did you learn from the creation of the song?
Um, a lot. Like I said, it was the first time that I had been in a studio. So I learned a lot just from all of that. It was also the first time that I had co-written. So the producer I worked with, Jojo, had done all of the instrumentals. Normally, I've at least done the guitars or something, but this time I just wanted to try something completely different. So he wrote instrumentals and I wrote the lyrics and vocal melody on top. So I feel like I learned, um, just a lot through the co-writing process to break out of my normal habits of writing. I feel like I also had to learn to just trust my gut on what fit the music, because a couple times I was like, oh, like that might sound a little bit cheesy or something, but it was stuck in my head. So just kept going with it and trusting that it would turn out good if I really believed in it. For at least the things that kept getting stuck in my head, and it ended up working out to be like probably my favorite song so far.
That's good. So, what's one memory you'll take away with you from the creation?
Um, okay, this is probably the funniest thing that I remember. But while I was in the studio, so I'm from the East Coast and I was visiting the West. So I was staying with my uncle, and he decided to come into some of the studio sessions. And it was his first time actually really hearing me sing for the first time. But in this song, it's also my first time doing some screaming as well, which I don't even know if my uncle knew I had been practicing. So Yeah, I was screaming. It was probably the thing that took the least amount of takes in the song as well. And I just remember my uncle being so surprised. I'll probably never forget that because I was also really proud of it at the time. But I just remember his reaction was pretty priceless.
So how did you come up with the artwork?
I had been thinking for a while, like what would be really good artwork for this. I didn't know at first. So there's a music video with this song as well that I worked on with Jaden Frost, and I was telling him throughout the music video shooting, like, okay, what could we use as cover art? I want to just keep thinking what would be a really good fit for this song, what really captures the whole song. And at the end of the music video, then there's like confetti everywhere. I'm like jumping on a bed with a guitar and all. And he's like, if you want cover art, like this is the moment. So then he just took a couple photos while I was just like covered in confetti. And then we're like, okay, that's the one. Cause it's kind of like this celebration of, you're able to face your fears and just like keep going forward. So it was just like a really in the moment of cover art. But I think it looked really cool when it came out.
No, I like the sound of that. It sounds good. So what's been your favorite musical memory?
Favorite musical memory ever?
Yeah.
Probably. So, like I said, I was really inspired by My Chemical Romance. They're still my favorite band. When the guitarist was Frank Iero was touring with his solo project, then I got to meet him, and that was probably just I don't know if anything can really beat that, or at least not at this point. Actually being able to meet one of your idols or like the person that made me pick up guitar was pretty surreal. So, and getting a chance to have a conversation with him and tell him that, that was probably the coolest moment I've had.
Nice. And what's your dream venue to play at and why?
Um, at some point I would love to play like, a really big stadium or something, but I always really appreciate those smaller shows as well. I think one place I've always thought about is like it would be really cool to play the Stone Pony. I'm also from Jersey originally. But there's also a place in Boston that kind of feels like my home venue. So Brighton Music Hall is probably another one. It's like a smaller venue, but something that I would just like absolutely. I've been on stage there before for plenty of emo nights. That's where I met the guitarist. Just so many memories. I feel like I would just feel right at home if I was playing at that venue.
So finally, what's next for you?
A couple things, but I guess the main one after this song is I recorded 2 songs when I was in LA with that producer. So I have another song that will be coming out. I'm planning to do that sometime this summer. And then from there, I have a couple other things that are recorded or like being produced right now. So I just know that there's a lot of music coming up this year. So I'm super excited, but at least one more that is completely done, just waiting for, creating another release schedule for that one.
So a massive thank you, Nicole Ash, for joining me on Totally Music. If anyone would like to check out her music, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you. But thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.